Hello and good night. Welcome to another bedtime story. This story is meant to help you sleep or to relax your mind. Try and find a comfortable place, such as your bed or a soft chair. If you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes now. Try and let go of the day as we begin our tale. Tonight's story is The Library of Forgotten Stories. Once upon a time, in a small Gambian village on the west coast, there lived a 12-year-old girl named Aisatu. She loved going to school and learning new things, but most of all, she loved writing and telling stories. Mostly, she told her stories to her classmates or to the younger kids in her neighborhood, although she would gladly tell just about anyone who would listen. She dreamed of becoming a famous writer when she grew up, selling her books nationwide, or maybe even to neighboring countries. Every day when Aisatu went to school, she would always pass a door at the end of the long hallway that was always locked. It was an old wooden door, slightly worn with age, and the teachers never spoke of what was behind it. Students were strictly forbidden from opening it, and those who asked too many questions were quickly silenced with a stern look. Rumors spread among the children. Some said it led to a hidden treasure, while others believed it was just an old storage closet filled with grown-up stuff. One afternoon, Aisatu stayed late after school to finish her homework before heading home. The classrooms were empty and the halls were silent. As she passed by the forbidden door, she noticed something unusual. It was slightly open. Amazed, she studied the door with curiosity. Then she quickly looked around. No one was to be seen or heard. If she just peeked inside, no one would know. She took a deep breath and stepped closer. Pushing the door open, she expected to find old brooms or cleaning supplies, or maybe even the rumored treasure, but instead, it was empty. Disappointed, she took a step inside, and as she did, a swirling white light surrounded her. In an instant, she felt herself being pulled forwards. Before she could cry out, she was completely surrounded by the light, spinning her around. It was so bright, she had to close her eyes, but she could feel herself moving. Then, everything went silent. Slowly, she opened her eyes. She was no longer in the school. Instead, she stood in a vast hall, lined with towering bookshelves, stretching as far as she could see. Row upon row, filled with books of every size and color imaginable. The air smelled of old paper and ink, and the soft glow of lanterns cast warm shadows on the walls. She wandered around, noticing a massive wooden table with an inkpot and a quill in the corner. But she turned her attention to the books on the shelves, running her fingers along the spines of the books. Then, something caught her eye, a book unlike the others. Its cover was blank, except for a single golden quill on the front. She opened it eagerly, flipping through the pages. The story inside was captivating, telling of a brave boy named Sarjo who had set out on a journey to save his village from an endless drought. But as she turned the final page, she noticed it was blank. How strange, she thought, bemused. How could anyone write such a compelling story, but then stop right before the ending? What happened to Sarjo? Did he save his village? She frowned. Then an idea struck her. She picked up the quill from the table and dipped it into the inkpot that sat nearby. With a deep breath, she began to write. With each word, the story came to life in her mind. She imagined Sarjo climbing the highest mountain to speak with the rainkeeper who guarded the clouds. She saw him offering the last drop of water from his village, proving his people's need was great. She wrote that the rainkeeper's heart softened, the skies opened, and the rain finally fell. As soon as she finished the last sentence, the book began to glow. The pages fluttered wildly, and suddenly a figure stepped out of the book. It was Sarjo. "Thank you," he said, bowing deeply. "We have been trapped for so long, waiting for someone to finish our tale." Aisatu's eyes widened. "You mean you were inside the book all this time?" He nodded. "Many stories here were left unfinished, their characters forced to relive the same events over and over again until someone writes their fate and sets them free. Thanks to you, I too am now free." Aisatu's heart pounded. If this was true, how many more characters were waiting? How many more stories needed endings? She quickly started searching and opened book after book, finding many stories with missing endings. Some were adventures of lost travelers. Others were tales of kingdoms on the brink of ruin. Each time she wrote them an ending, and each time the characters leaped from the pages, free at last. A courageous warrior who had been frozen in time thanked her before returning to his kingdom. A lonely bird, searching for its lost flock, soared into the sky after she wrote of its reunion. Even a mischievous cat, who had been caught in an endless game of hide and seek, purred happily as it found its home. The more she wrote, the more the library seemed to change. The shelves gleamed brighter, the books whispered with excitement, and the lanterns glowed warmer. After what seemed like forever, she finally finished writing the last missing ending. Then the library shuddered. The shelves started to tremble. The books fluttered. And then, from the center of the room, a figure emerged. A woman, dressed in robes woven from stardust. "You have done what no one before you has done," the woman said. "You have given the characters their peace, and for that, you deserve a reward." She handed Aisatu a quill made of pure gold and told her she had earned the right to sell it so her family could prosper. Next, she gave Aisatu a small, glowing book. Its pages were blank. "This is your own story," the woman said. "Only you can write it." Aisatu's heart swelled. She had spent so much time finishing other people's tales, but now she had the chance to write her own. With a smile on her face, she took the quill and the book and stepped out of the magic library, ready to begin the greatest story of all, her own adventure. The end. Thank you for listening to this bedtime story. I hope you enjoyed the tale tonight. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more audiobooks and tales to come. Until next time.